Good morning. It's Thursday morning, and we are here for a teaching from the Book of Proverbs, the Wisdom of Solomon, as we continue on through that wonderful book. You know, we are in the time of teaching, in the season of teaching for the church here, and that is Christmas, where we learn about God's plan. We learn about the gospel, the good news, at the very source. And so this is prime time for teaching, and we're going to learn from the Book of Proverbs of all places. Not the most Christmassy of books, but you'll see. The Bible is, of course, our primary source book for teaching, for learning about God, learning about ourselves. And the Bible teaches us in a variety of different ways. It teaches us through stories that we can learn from examples, both good and bad examples. It teaches us through epistles and rules and truths and proverbs from the book that we've been going through. But you know, out of all of the tools for teaching that the Bible employs, maybe one of the most effective is the tool of the question. Jesus employed that tool. He used parables, he used stories and outright teaching. But the questions of Jesus are a fascinating study in itself. Jesus asked his disciples many, many questions, not because he didn't know the answers to the questions, but because he wanted to stir them up to think and to ask and answer those questions themselves. And so he asked questions like, why are you anxious about clothing? Do you want to be well? He asked a sick man. And maybe one of the most important questions of all, who do men say that I am? And many, many others. And so questions are very important. When it comes to Christmas, it's a story that is so well known to us that sometimes we stop asking questions and we rest in our knowledge of all that Christmas is. But here's a question. I call it the Christmas question from Proverbs chapter 20, verse 19. Here it is. Who can say, I am pure? Who can say that I am clean from my sin? That's a good question. The answer? No one. No one can say or can make himself or herself pure. None of us can say, I am clean from my sin by ourselves without the help of God. That's the whole reason behind Christmas. And so it is the question that Mary pondered. It's the question that the shepherds who wandered in the fields at night asked themselves. It's the question the Magi asked as they traveled a long way to see the baby Jesus. And they wondered when they came to the child king. All of that is wrapped up in the story of Christmas. Christmas is a beautifully wrapped gift. And inside is the one question, how can I be free? How can I be clean from my sin? Christmas is the answer to that question. And so we're going to be unwrapping that gift over the next several weeks. We started last Sunday, or 2 Sundays ago, by looking at the promise of Christmas, found in Genesis chapter 3, the promise of a deliverer. And on this coming Sunday, we're going to look at the Christmas plan, the plan of Christmas that God has. And then the next week, we'll look at the people of Christmas, called the shepherds. And finally, as we come to the Sunday before Christmas, we will explore the person of Christmas. I bet you know who that is. And then, of course, on Christmas Eve, we're going to celebrate the coming of Christ. And we'll look at the story of the Magi, the so-called wise men. So this is a time for learning again the story of Christmas, the truth of Christmas, that I cannot make myself pure, that I cannot make myself clean from sin, but God can. And that's a reason to celebrate. So, have a wonderful Thursday. Look forward to seeing you on Sunday. God bless.